everybody, I'm Professor Rad, and today we're going to take decimals and write them in their fraction format. So we're going to work through 3 examples here, and we're going to use the same technique for each of these. So we're going to write each decimal in fraction form, and then we will simplify. So here's how this works. There are a couple different ways you can think about it, but they all amount to the same thing. So I'm going to talk through how I think about it. So this decimal has no whole number part. And if I think about the name of this decimal, I want to use my place values. So this was tenths, and then we had hundredths. So the 9 is in the hundredths place. So this is 9 hundredths, or 9 over 100. So you can use the decimal name to help you write the fraction form of that decimal. However, if you have trouble with your place values, here are a couple of tricks. So the trick that I learned when I learned how to write decimals into fractions was you count how many digits you have after the decimal point. So here we have 1, 2. That's how many zeros you need in the denominator. So since we had two digits after the decimal point, I need 2 zeros in the denominator, and it's a 1 in front. So when I learned how to write this, I would take this number as a 9, put a 1 in the bottom, and then we have 1, 2, so we have 1, 2. Similar kind of concept that one of my students told me they learned was wherever that decimal point is, you put a 1 there, and then everything after that, you're going to put zeros, and that tells you the denominator. So again, we would get a denominator of 100, and whatever you have here tells you the numerator. Then our directions also say to simplify, but 9 and 100 have no common factors, so this is as simple as it's going to get. So let's look at 2.7. Again, you can think about how you might say this as a number format, or you can use one of the 2 kind of shortcuts that I mentioned before. So I'm going to use the one that my student taught me. So where that decimal point is, I'm going to put a 1, and then I'm going to put a 0 for everything afterwards. This is going to be my denominator. Then whatever number I had, just get rid of the decimal point, and that becomes the top. So here we have 27 over 10. And that's it. So 2.7, or 2 and 7 tenths, is going to turn into 27 tenths. And then for this last one, I'm going to use that same technique. I'm going to replace that decimal point with a 1, and I'm going to put a 0 for every digit that comes afterwards. That's going to be my denominator. So the denominator is 1,000. And then for the numerator, I'm going to ignore that leading 0, and I have just 148. So we have 148 up top. Now, in the previous example, we were done after we wrote 27 over 10 because the only common factor between those 2 numbers is 1, so it doesn't simplify. But 148 over 1,000 is going to simplify because both of these numbers are even. So now we can use our techniques of simplifying to simplify our result. I'm going to use repeated division in this case, but you could use the GCF, or you could use prime factorization, whichever you prefer. So when I divide 148 by 2, that gives me a 74. And 1,000 divided by 2 is 500. Both of these numbers are also even, so I can divide out another 2. Let's see, that's going to give me a 37. And when I divide 500 by 2, that gets me 250. 37 is prime, and it's not going to go into 250, so this is going to be our fraction in simplest form. All right, so here are 3 problems for you to try on your own. Write each of these decimals as a fraction in simplest form. In the next video, we're going to talk about how you can use your calculator to convert between the decimal and fraction format. So I am looking forward to seeing you then. In the meantime, have a great day.